Quick challenge. What do all of these posters have in common? Do you notice anything? Blue and orange explosions, rom-com couples refusing to make eye contact, faces peeking out of the dark. Once you see the formula, you can't unsee it. Movie posters aren't just random. They are built to control your eyes. Today, we are breaking down the psychology behind these tricks and why half of Hollywood's posters look like they were copy and pasted from the same template. A poster only gets 2 to 3 seconds to actually hook you. That is less time than it takes for Thanos to snap. Designers know that your brain doesn't read first. It scans for visuals. So they design eye paths, little invisible routes that your eyes are forced to follow. Humans are wired for faces. We notice them first. Our eye goes to the brightest or most contrasting spot, and our brains love shortcuts. If there is a sword pointing, we follow it. If there is light coming from behind a character, we track it. Orange skin tones pop against teal backgrounds. It is science and Hollywood laziness. And rom-com designers love one thing: denial. If the leads in the film don't look at each other, then they must be in love. It is not a rom-com unless they look miserable on the poster, and then magically in love before the credits. Yes, the pyramid layout. We have one giant floating head on top, and supporting cast shrink down below. If your face is on top of the pyramid, that means you get a big paycheck. And then we have the movie posters where a lone figure is dwarfed by a massive environment. And instantly, you know that drama is coming. If there is a tiny person staring at the giant sky, then you know that you're either going to cry or contemplate life. And then we have horror faces. These are half-lit, blurred, a little too close for comfort, and our brains can't look away. It is not a good horror movie unless the poster looks like it's watching you. Okay, so why do designers repeat these formulas? It is because they work. They tell you the genre instantly. Studios don't want to risk originality, not when you could recognize a rom-com or an action flick at a first glance. It is like fast food packaging. You don't reinvent a burger. You just slap a new actor's face on it. And even if you're not making movie posters, you could borrow from these strategies. Establish hierarchy, one main focal point. Use things like color and contrast to guide attention. Think about the eye path. Don't let people get lost. So next time you look at a movie poster, remember, it is not just artwork. It is psychological warfare on your eyeballs. And the formulas? They are part of a secret playbook that Hollywood has been recycling for decades. Okay, so let me know in the comments what your favorite movie poster is. I want to roast it in a different video. Hit like and subscribe if you want more design breakdowns with a pop culture twist. And until next time, keep your eyes open, literally. That's all I have for you. Bye-bye.